Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for a very special video. So we are going to hop into the time machine and travel back 28 years to the year 1995 as we look at the Bandai series of Dragon Ball action figures. So I discovered Dragon Ball in the early 90s when I was in high school. And when 1995 kind of rolled around, Bandai was keen on producing merchandise. The cartoon finally arrived on Western shores through syndication, and I was a huge fan. Previously, I was collecting Dragon Ball videos through tape traders at like conventions, and also through like mail order and stuff through other tape traders. But once Dragon Ball finally reached mainstream television, for me it was such an exciting thing, and I wanted all things Dragon Ball. So in my neck of the woods, Dragon Ball merchandise at first was kind of hard to come by. You had to go through specialty stores, and for me that meant going to some of my comic book shops because they were the only ones at the time that kind of had Dragon Ball merchandise. So what we're going to look at here is a trio of figures that kind of started my Dragon Ball figure collection way back in 1995. So as you can see, these were produced by Bandai, and this is Dragon Ball. This is not Dragon Ball Z, it's not Dragon Ball GT, it's not Dragon Ball Super. This is the original Dragon Ball cartoon. It was inspired by the manga, illustrated and written by Akira Toriyama, and it's the original Dragon Ball series was so fun and so lighthearted, and it just totally won me over. So we're going to take a look at these three figures, mint on card, so I apologize in advance. We are not going to unbox these. These figures are almost 30 years old, and as you can see, the boxes or the packages are pretty pristine, minus maybe one or two dog ears. So first, we're going to start with this one right here. We're looking at Dragon Ball Fast-Kicking Krillin. So we have Krillin here, or if you watch the original anime, Krillin. Krillin was one of my favorite characters. I have such an affinity for this character. I think he's awesome. All of these figures fall within the 5-inch range. Goku and Krillin are maybe, I think, 4.5 to 4 3/4. As you can see here, he's wearing his training outfit when he's with Master Roshi. On the back, we have the entire trio of characters. Collect them all. We have fast-kicking Krillin, sword-swinging Yamcha, and then we have staff-slashing Goku on the right. Krillin's play feature was pretty simple. You press the button on his back, and then it makes his right leg kick up and down. So it wasn't rocket science, but for me, I was just so stoked just to have Dragon Ball action figures. There's a Japanese mall near my home, and they always had Dragon Ball merchandise. A lot of it was kind of bootleg, and most of them were kind of smaller, PVC miniatures or statues. So once, I was able to obtain these articulated action figures, I was just really excited. Next, we have Dragon Ball Staff-Slashing Goku. Goku is the main hero throughout the entire saga. And Dragon Ball, the original series, that's when we're first introduced to the character. And he's such a lovable, naive boy at the time. And it's just, his adventures are just so awesome, so fun, and all the friends he meets, and it's just really wacky, especially if you get the chance to watch the original Japanese anime that's uncensored. It's just hilarious. A lot of crazy stuff goes on in there. Again, this kind of shows the trio of figures that are available. And for Goku, his play feature is his staff slashing action. And the way that works is you snap the long staff into his hands, and then you press the tabs on the power pole. Then you press the tabs on Goku's power pole into the holes on his back, and then use the pole to twist his arm and body to make him slash his staff. So essentially, what you're doing is he has 3 accessories right here. He has his monkey tail, which you plug into his butt, of course, and then he has his staff, which you actually put in his his hands, and then he has the sheath for the staff, and you plug that into the back. And this shorter staff, the sheath on his back, kind of acts as the lever. So when you move this, it forces his arms to kind of move, and then that kind of creates that staff slashing action right there. Next we have the sword swinging Yamcha. So we have the cool hip adventurer here. My only complaint with Yamcha is I kind of wish they paired him up with his feline companion Puar. But it's just cool to get a solo figure of him nonetheless. As you can see, he comes with his sword and then a scabbard for it. And then on the back, you place the sword in his hand, and then you insert the tab on the scabbard into the hole on his left side. And then you push the tab located on his back from side to side to make him swing his sword, if that makes sense. So yeah, these are all fun pieces of my youth. Like I said, I was introduced to Dragon Ball when I was in high school. And then during my first year of college is when these toys came out. I always remember just being excited whenever I saw new action figures. And these were just awesome. The cartoon really won me over. And even though these aren't like the greatest action figures in the world, if you look at them, the articulation's very, very limited. They really did capture the likeness of how they looked in the cartoons. Krillin, you can't see it, but even has the 6 spots on his forehead. They're kind of just these really faint dimples, but he does have them. I loved how Yamcha kind of has his uniform here. And it was such a fun time, when they brought Dragon Ball to the States in like an official capacity. And once we were given toys, it made it even sweeter. Bandai was seeing a huge surgence in terms of toys in the 90s. Especially with their Power Rangers. That also kind of came out, not in tandem with this, but around the same time. So it was just really awesome to see that, a lot of stuff from Japan was getting playtime on Western television. Whether it was Power Rangers or like anime like Dragon Ball. It was really, really awesome. So I hope this brought back some memories if you're as old as I am. If you grew up on the original Dragon Ball, I hope this sparks some fond memories of yesterday. If you're a younger fan of Dragon Ball, this kind of gives you an idea of what the collectibles were like in the 90s. Nowadays, you're very spoiled. It blows my mind that you can find Dragon Ball action figures at like Walmart and Target, whereas in the 90s, they were like so hard to come by, until the cartoons came to Western shores. All right, so with that being said, let's wrap this one up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. All right, later.